Hey guys, it's Mike Chen. Welcome to my, well, it's not a kitchen, but as many of you know, I've been traveling. I just moved back to New York, so I don't really have a kitchen yet, and this is gonna have to do for now. I just wanna say, I am so excited about this video. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but before we start, I just wanna give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, the Great Courses Plus, which is an awesome subscription on-demand video learning service I've been using for over a year now, and I'll talk about that later. They're actually the first sponsor of this channel ever, so yay, more food for me. Anyway, like I mentioned, I am so excited about this video because it involves one of my favorite foods ever, pho. And if you guys don't know, pho, it is an extremely popular Vietnamese street food. It's a noodle soup dish made primarily either with chicken or beef, and it's something I crave all the time. I think I even crave it more than hot pot and almost as much as hot oil, and that's saying something. I still remember the first time I ever put this delicious noodle soup in my mouth. And yes, I have a clear memory of all my delicious food encounters. Anyway, I remember I just came back from China. I was around 15 years old. I was in San Francisco. My cousin picked me up and took us all to a pho place. And I didn't know what was so special. I'm like, it's just rice noodles. What's so special about this? Then I put it into my mouth and my life was never the same again. Now, if I don't eat it once a week, I get withdrawals. I think I start to do the pho shake. Now, I know pho is a Vietnamese dish and I, of course, am not Vietnamese, but I got this recipe from my friend's mom who is Vietnamese and she swears by it. So thank you, Brenda's mom. Thank you for this pho-tastic recipe. All right, let's get started. Here's all the ingredients you will need. Some cilantro, salt, fish sauce, sriracha, hoisin sauce, rock sugar. You'll need about 10 star anise, 1 cinnamon stick, 4 to 5 bay leaves, about a teaspoon of fennel seeds. You'll need 2 medium onions, about 6 ounces of ginger. And we're doing a beef soup base today, so we have 3 pounds of oxtail. You can also use beef leg bones. We've got about a pound of thinly sliced beef, and you want this sliced as thin as possible. And I love using brisket because it gives me a nice balance of lean and fatty meat. You'll need some lime, rice noodles. I prefer this brand. And for veggies, we have some sprouts, some green onions, and you'll need a big pot to stew everything in. First thing we're gonna do is roast our onions and ginger. All you gotta do is take your onion and just cut that in half. This one's massive. This one's like the size of my head. Then take your ginger and just cut it into big chunks. Put them all on a roasting sheet. Just take the outer peel off because it's gonna crumple and leave a mess in your soup. Preheat your oven on broil. Go ahead and slice that in. That's gonna be in there for about 20 minutes and make sure to flip it over at the 10-minute mark. What that's gonna do is bring out all the magical oniony, gingery flavor. It's gonna make your soup fantastic. While the onion and ginger is roasting, take your pot, add your bones, in my case, the oxtail. Cover the bones with water. Doesn't matter how much as long as you cover it. And we're gonna bring this to a boil. Just gonna turn my onions and gingers over so they don't burn. You just don't want them to blacken. 20 minutes up, set it aside and let it cool. And before you put this into your soup, just get rid of some of the burnt outer shells. My oxtail is boiling and you can see all the scum floating on top. We're gonna get rid of all that. We're gonna clean the bones before we start prepping our broth. And a lot of you might be freaking out right now because I am dumping all this out. You see all the scum floating on top, and then on top of the meat and the bones, we're gonna get rid of all that. Look at this. Make sure you clean all that scum out of your pot before you start making your broth. And also, look at the bones. Look how dirty this is. You gotta clean all the bones off so your soup comes out nice and clear. And honestly, just about 10 minutes of boiling this is not going to, you're not gonna lose that much flavor. But if you don't do this, your soup is gonna come out very cloudy and it's not gonna be that good. After you rinse your pot, add 2 gallons of water. Add in your clean oxtail bones. Put it back onto the stove and bring that to a boil. Get a pan heated up on low, toss your spices in, and just cook it for a few minutes to bring out its flavor. After a few minutes, the star anise is anisier, the bay leaves are leafier, and you can take this and put it inside a cheesecloth where you can put it inside a spice bag, and that's where you're gonna toss into your broth. Pot is boiling again. You see there's more scum now floating on the surface. What you need to do is become a scum fighting machine, all right? So whenever you see scum, get it out of there. Now that this is boiled, turn this on low, bring it to a simmer, and we are gonna go ahead and add our spice bag. 1 inch of yellow rock sugar. You can use regular sugar, but the taste is gonna be just sweet and kind of flat. The flavor profile of yellow rock sugar is much deeper. In goes your onions and ginger that you were roasting in the oven. 2 tablespoons of salt. And this is really important here. This is the essence of the broth. Just remember, do not skimp on the fish sauce. Get a good quality fish sauce. Actually, I have no idea whether this is, I think this is a good brand. This is the most expensive brand they had in the store, but this smells really rotten, so I think that's a good thing. And you're gonna need about half a cup of that. Give it a little mix. And we're gonna let that simmer for about 5 to 6 hours uncovered. And what you gotta do, like I mentioned, you gotta keep checking back for the scum. We will not allow scum to overtake our streets or our pho. Well, the soup looks and smells good. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna strain everything. We're gonna take out all the onions, ginger, and the bones and the meat. We're gonna take the meat off the bones and then put the meat back in because, come on, we're not gonna waste the meat. Look how tender that meat is right there. Can't wait to bite into that. Look how easy that meat is coming off. All right, the Asian side of me took over. When I see a bone, I gotta gnaw on it. Oh, that is gelatinously delicious. That's a little appetizer. What a lot of people like to do after the broth is ready is strain it in a cheesecloth, and you could do that, definitely. Also, there's gonna be a layer of fat floating to the top of this broth, and what you can do if you want is leave it overnight in the fridge and the fat will separate. You can remove it that way. For me, I'm really hungry right now, so I'm just gonna use my ladle here and just bypass the upper layer of fat and just dig into this broth. Oh, that's hot. That's good though. Wow. What you can do here as well is, this is where you adjust your saltiness preference. If you want your broth more salty, you can add more fish sauce in there, you can add more salt in there. But for me, I don't want it too salty because I'm gonna add some sriracha in, and I'm gonna add some hoisin sauce in there later. And you can just lay the thinly sliced beef on the noodles itself because the broth is hot enough where it's gonna cook it. I like a ton of soup. We're just gonna chop up some cilantro, some green onions, and we'll cut up a lime. Some basil, and this is just personal preference. You don't need to add it if you don't want to. Some lime, squeeze that in there. And definitely chunks of oxtail meat. Finally, last not least, some bean sprouts to give a little crunch. There you go, beautiful bowl of pho. Woo, my very first homemade bowl of pho. I feel so accomplished right now. I'll tell you what, guys. Actually, it tastes kind of legit. I'm kind of surprised at myself. Tastes like it could have been from a pho place. I definitely want to add more seasoning in here. Love me from rotten fish sauce. When it comes to your hoisin sauce, you can either dip your noodles in there or you can add it directly to the broth. I'm gonna add it to my broth. And finally, I'm a little crazy with the sriracha. Yeah, let's draw a happy face. Okay, that's just not very pretty, I know. And because it's my own pho place, I'm gonna go ahead and top it up with some more hot soup. That tastes like a beautiful bowl of pho. I can't believe I made this. I tried the oxtail. Oh, it's tender. Oh, it's tender. I love thinly sliced beef, so buttery, melty in this broth. What I don't have in here that's very typical are some raw onions. I accidentally used up all my raw onions in the broth. You could also have some tripe. I love tripe because I feel like the texture of it gives a little nice crunch, and that goes really well with the noodles. Other things you can put in here, beef balls, fish balls, base balls, whatever you want. Be creative with this dish. And like I said, don't make the base broth way too salty. Make sure you leave yourself some room to add more salt or more fish sauce or more sriracha or more hoisin sauce later. I'm so excited. There's the closest pho place to me right now is like 50 minutes away. And now, whatever. Even though I think it tastes good, it might not to a Vietnamese person, so I invited my friend Brenda to come join me. Brenda, you are Vietnamese.
Yes.
And you know your pho.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this is my broth. I cooked this using your mom's recipe.
My mom's recipe, authentic.
So you're kind of biased though. You're kind of biased. Okay, but you gotta be honest, okay? If it doesn't taste good, you gotta call me out on it.
All right, let's see how this tastes.
So one key attribute of this dish is the broth has to be a little clear.
Right.
Right. So the clearness test is okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
That's good. This is like a legit restaurant.
So there you go, guys. Don't even take it from me. Take it from Brenda. This is a legit bowl of pho. Noodles okay? Noodles okay? Okay. Cool, cool. I'm glad that worked out because that really took me like 10 hours to do.
You're a good cook.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna go eat this over there, okay? See you.
Well, okay, you're not. Oh, all right. Thanks, Brenda. This is so good. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm gonna put this down for a second. Guys, you gotta go try out this recipe. If you never had pho before in your life, you are who I'm talking to right now. Drop everything, go buy all the ingredients. I have them all listed in my description box. Go make this for yourself. And I know it is a lot of ingredients, so I try to list as many as I can that I could find on Amazon for you guys. And what's also great about this is, look at it. I have about a gallon of broth left. I'm gonna freeze this, then I can have pho whenever I want in a matter of minutes. And I know a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, isn't it faster if I walk to my local pho place and spend $6, $7 on a nice steaming bowl of pho without having to make it? Yeah, that's great, but I know a lot of you, and now me included, we don't have access to restaurants like this, so now you can make it at home, and like I said, just take a day, make a bunch of it, freeze it, and you are gonna be so happy. Also guys, like I always say, if I can do it, you can do it. And if you like to cook as much as I do, but don't actually have the money and time to go to a culinary institute, then definitely check out the Great Courses Plus. It's a service that I myself have been using for over a year now. They have lectures and courses from top professors from Ivy League and experts from places like the Culinary Institute of America. So right now, personally, I've been watching all the cooking classes I can online. And because summer is coming, I'm checking out the Master Outdoor Cooking Series with Bill Brywa and Patrick Clark from the Culinary Institute of America. So if you sign up for the service, you'll have around 7,000 video lectures about basically anything you're interested in, even if it's not food. So if you're a nerd like me, or that sounds like something you would enjoy, please go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/dumpling and you'll get a free trial, and then plan starts around $14.99 per month. I have the link for you guys in my description box, so click on that and start your free trial, and you'll be learning some new stuff and supporting this channel as well. Win-win, right? All right guys, like I mentioned, all the ingredients for this recipe is in my description box, and I try my best to follow the links where you can buy the ingredients from Amazon. Definitely give this recipe a shot. Let me know how you like it. So until we eat again, I'll see you later.